This is Riley's roadmap to success. Now Riley was a little bit, evidently she's not a big fan of men that she doesn't know. And so I used kind of this is a couple hours ago we started the session, but I used kind of a measured approach. I waited for her to settle down a little bit at the door. When she settled down a little bit, I opened the door a crack and I threw a treat in. So when you have, you might want to do is have male friends come over and help her practice interacting with them and greeting them in this manner. So have them come over, have the screen all the way up, exercise her before it. Remember, always put the dog in position to succeed. And then have your friend come over and maybe leave a little bag of treats out on your table out there. There you get a freebie. And so they grab these treats that she's already had that she loves, chicken liver. And then basically they just have them go to the door, and they can knock, but I'm guessing they won't need to. She'll see that they're there, and just wait. Don't look at her. Tell them to avoid eye contact. And just wait. As soon as she settles down, reach for the handle. That'll probably get her upset. Don't even touch the hand. Just reach. Pull your hand back. Wait for her to settle down. Keep doing that over and over again until she kind of stays settled. Then I'm gonna open it and throw a treat in and close the door. Do that 2 or 3 times until she seems you see the hackles that go down and her tail kind of starts drifting down a little bit so it's more parallel with the spine. Then they can open it just a crack so that they can put this part of their knee through the door so she can smell them. And we want to do this when she's not super aroused, not super worked up. And when she sniffs them a little bit, then they can toss another treat, or they can try offering a treat by hand. But by doing this sort of measure, and then once she's kind of relaxed and she kind of sniffs them and takes a step back, they can come in the door, open in. Tell them to use slow movements as if they're underwater. That kind of helps the dog feel a little bit more comfortable. And then they should wait at the area. Don't talk to them. They shouldn't be talking. Just have them sit there quietly and allow her to sniff. It's polite in the dog world for when we come into a dog's house to stop and let them sniff us. And if she's jumping up and doing other behaviors, let me know. We can come up with solutions to those problems. But what I want her to do is sniff on her own and then move away on her own. When she does, before the person comes in, they can take another treat, make a kissing sound, and then throw a treat like that so that she walks into the room and gives them some space to come into the room. Okay, and if you have other problems with men, let me know, the greeting, let me know. We can go over some stuff with that, but we didn't really go over this that much except for the beginning, so I just want to kind of summarize it. Now, basically, she doesn't have any rules. She is exercised a little bit, but probably under-exercised, and she likes to nudge her humans, well, she's not doing it now, to demand attention. And this is what I call the perfect storm. So the dog doesn't have any motivation to listen to the humans, doesn't see them as authority figures because the humans are not acting like leaders through our actions. And the dog's being under-exercised kind of amplifies a lot of behavior problems. So one of the things I went over was, ways to flip the leader-follower dynamic. And one of the first ways I usually suggest doing that is by incorporating rules and structure, enforcing rules consistently. Does she like to carry a blanket around as well?
Sometimes,
okay.
Mostly the ring.
So a lot of times when they pick stuff up in their mouth, it's kind of a way of self-soothing. Come. That's passive training. We'll talk about that in a sec. So I went over rules because for dogs, we have to think like I'm the human, so you should respect me as the authority figure. Dogs like, I don't see you acting like a leader because you're not enforcing rules or hunting or building the house or doing things where we give credit for doing them. Matter of fact, when we leave the house and go to work and come back, the dog thinks we're just out partying like rock stars. When we come home, we're pretty lazy because we just sit and lay around and sleep and eat and watch TV. We don't act like leaders. So I always like to start incorporating rules that have a meaning or substance for the dog, and then consistently enforcing them for a minimum of 30 days or as long as the problems are still going on. Yes. So one of the rules is not being allowed in the furniture for 30 days or as long as the problem's still going on. Then furniture with an invitation and only for good behavior. So remember, if she gets up, we're going to touch her nose with a treat, throw one treat on the ground. When she gets down and licks it up, we're going to say the word off. Or also, I'd like you to go around the house and go to each doorway, throw a treat through the doorway, about 2 feet on the other side of the doorway. She goes out the door and gets it, and we say out. Let her come back and do it a second time. Do it all the rooms in your house, all the doorways. Then do it a second time going the other direction. Do that like each one of you does that once a day for maybe 3 to 5, 7 days. You should be able to say out and have her leave the room automatically. We're creating a vocabulary and a context. Speaking of vocabulary, come up with a list of the official command words and say vocabulary if somebody in the house is saying come here when the word is actually come. By using exclusively one command word for each action, we make it a lot easier for the dog to perform better. Also, whenever possible, come up with fun command words. Dogs can read our facial expression. We have grandkids that come by. So if we say chill and the dog lays down, or crash and the dog flops down, the kids are going to think that's funny. The dog's like, yes, I made everybody happy, and that brightens the mood, and it just makes things easier. It doesn't cost you anything but imagination. People fight me on coming up with funny command words, which I think is not very smart because it doesn't cost you anything and it has benefits that will benefit you for the rest of your dog's life. Now, if you want to change a word, like her word right now is down, to lay down, and we want to change it to crash, then what we do is say down. When she lays down, I would give her the treat and say crash. So I'm going to change the name on the second, on the reward stage, not on the command stage, until I can say crash and she lays down. And if they say crash and she doesn't lay down, keep practicing down, crash. Okay, other rules, she's not allowed to be within 7 feet of people who are eating. We're going to use the escalating consequences to move her away if she does violate that. If you get the escalating consequences, message me. I can share a video of them with you, but I think you probably wrote them down note-wise. Also, another rule, not being allowed in the kitchen when we're preparing food. The rest of the time she can be there. She can be in front of the couch, just not when we're eating food. Let me see. I would also, if I know people normally don't come to that door, but if somebody does come to the door, I would move her off the tile before you open the door. Increasing the distance can help her feel more relaxed. When you're out and about with her, if you see another dog or person she starts reacting to, look for a shrub or a tree or someone to move around, and then try to give her a focus exercise, which I can teach you. Let me know, I can share a video and show you how to do it. Something to redirect her attention to you while the dog or people pass by, and then you can go back. So we don't want to pull her or allow her just to bark because she's going to work herself up into a frenzy. Just increase the distance or block her vision, wait for them to pass, and direct her to sit, down, crash, roll over, a couple tricks that she knows, and then come back to it. Also make her sit before you let her in or out of a door. Go to the door, say sit once. If she doesn't sit within 3 seconds, don't repeat it. Walk away, sit down, wait 1 minute, then go back and tell her again. If she doesn't sit within 3 seconds that time, walk away for 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Keep on doubling the length of time. Let me see. The beds, I would also make off limits. If you refuse to do that, then make sure it's only with an invitation, but it'd be faster if you do it without beds. Also, I recommend, although she's not a super low confidence dog, teaching her new tricks and commands, which I think is going to have a beneficial impact on the humans with her, because her favorite person has passed on, unfortunately, and so she's it's been months, and so she's getting better at it, coping. But it'd be nice for her to have some deeper bonds with the people that she lives with, and so I think that if they can teach her a new trick or command each week, each human picks 4 tricks, and then we alternate. 1 week you teach the trick on Sunday, then we practice it all week long. The next Sunday, I teach a trick, and we practice it all week long. We go back and forth. At that point, she'll have 12 to 15 new commands, and that is a nice boost of self-esteem. It also gives you a lot of tools to redirect her attention when you need to. Let me see. We also went over the importance of rewarding dogs for desired actions and behaviors. When I came in, the guardians were rewarding her for doing things that they don't like. They invaded her. She invaded their space. They petted her. She licked them, which they don't like. They petted her. She jumped up. We petted her. And so anything our dog is doing when we pet it is what we're enforcing, or rewarding, including unbalanced states of mind like fear, stress, and anxiety. So if you have a fearful dog and you pet it, you're going to make it more fearful. An excited dog, more excited. So I went over my petting with a purpose philosophy, which is just asking the dog to do something else when it demands attention, or even if you just want to pet it, unless the dog prepays for the attention. And also we want to practice what I call passive training, which is rewarding the dog for desired actions and behavior. So every time the dog comes to you, pet it and say come. Every time it sits next to you, pet it and say sit. Every time it lays down, pet it and say crash. Brings you a toy, name each toy. So now we're creating more of a vocabulary. It makes it easier for the dog to perform, and we're boosting her self-confidence, if I can speak properly, by creating more lessons that she knows. Let's see, what else did we go over? We went over a whole bunch of lessons above in the video above this about loose leash training. Now remember, when you're doing this, at first you're going to do the priming the clicker about maybe 3 or 4 days, 10 to 15 treats each time until that's all you'll have to do it. Next stage is just going to be to find a place where you can walk and, you can actually do the lunging step, I guess, next is the way I showed it to you. Now she has a tendency to want to go on the right. If she consistently does that, you might want to try walking her on the right when you're first starting doing this. She might have actually gotten used to walking with your dad on the right side, and or the left side, since you keep on going to the left. So unless there's a real reason that you don't want to do it, sometimes I just go with what the dog wants to do. And if she's always walking there and you're not fighting her like we were, then do that. If that doesn't seem to be the same way, she acts the same way either direction, then just, like I said, use your environment. So if you want her on the right, walk with a building or a fence on your left side that prevents her from going around. Also using Lowe's and Home Depot, walk down the aisle, close to the aisle, so that she can't go around you. And after a while, she'll get in the habit of doing it. The clicking part that I have in there will also teach her to go that side. And this part, I'm just going to go through kind of the iterations that I've realized I didn't put them in the video above. So what we want to do is we're going to do the circle at first. do the same lineage as what I did there. So we're gonna walk, and as soon as she passes her chest moves in front of you, stop. When she gets to the end of the leash, make a kiss, and then a sweeping motion over here, and always give her the treat on the side. And I'd like you to do that until when you get to the end of she gets to the end of the leash, she's automatically coming back to you. We achieved the point where she was turning around, she got to the end of the leash, but she'll start coming back on her own. The next stage, what I want to do is that's when I'm going to do the clicker. So what I would do is find a yard or someplace where you can be off leash, just walk the perimeter of it, and anytime she looks at you, click, and then drop a treat towards her. She comes over and licks it up. And then after a while, she'll start walking towards you. And then you click when she takes 1 step towards you, and then 2 steps, and then 3. Eventually she's gonna be walking next to you. Then you can make the circle, just keep walking that circle until you can walk a full circle with her staying in the heel position. Now remember, if she dawdles off and starts sniffing something, just do a circle around her, kind of a medium circle, and keep on walking. Don't call her. And as soon as she looks at you, click, and then drop the treat. Eventually she'll just start coming on that side only. The next stage is we're going to be holding the treat here. And when we're doing it, at first it's like step, release, and have a whole bunch in your hand. Step, release, step, release. So we're giving a whole bunch. We're going to be very liberal at first. And then after a while, we're going to go 1, 2 steps and release. 1, 2 steps and release, and then 3 steps. Keep on doing that until you get up to the point where you can give you 10 steps before you release the treat when you're holding the treat right here on the seam. And never hold it in front. Next stage is when you start moving it up, and I'd like you to practice that stage at first. As soon as you get to the top, you're going straight back down. At this point, you can probably say the word heel or follow or whatever the word that means to walk in a heel position. Never use it when you're correcting the leash because that's the opposite of a heel. You'll confuse her. So only say the word when she's in the heel position, walking calmly and doing exactly what you want. So at first, once you get to 10 steps, then you're going to start pulling up here and then treat her. And then after a while, it's hold it up here for 1 second and then treat her. And then 2 seconds and 4 seconds. And so you're kind of elongating steps, but I would start off by counting the number of seconds. And your pace is going to be consistent. But after a while, your dog's going to start walking and looking up at you. Now, you want to practice this. Every dog's going to be different iterations, so I'm not going to go through all of them. It's going to be based on what your dog needs. But again, use Lowe's and Home Depot or other places that are dog-friendly stores. If you go to a pet store, there's going to be so many distractions, she's not going to pay attention to you. So try to use Lowe's, Home Depot, some Menards you can use as well. Okay, so what else did we go over? Making sure that humans are eating before she eats, because dogs eat in the order of their rank. Don't walk around her, walk through her. Her job is to get out of your way. Play hard to get. Whenever you want to go for a walk or whatever, she's got to come to you. And if you want her to go for a walk and you say come and she doesn't come, then drop the leash and watch TV for a couple minutes until she comes to you. Always outlast your dog. Inconsistency is one of the ways we confuse dogs the most. So consistently and breaking the rules for her is actually confusing as well. So enforce those rules consistently. Make sure you reward desired actions and behaviors. Practice the loose leash steps above. If you have questions or things stop working, please call me or text me as soon as possible. If I don't hear from you, I assume everything's going great. If you have a question you're not sure, text me. I can shoot you a text response right away. I'd rather you not start practicing the wrong direction than it takes longer. Now, I'm doing a workshop on Saturday. You guys might want to come to the workshop and just get a refresher. It's free. She's black, and there's not a lot of shade there, so you might want to leave her at home and just bring an umbrella yourself and some chairs and sit down at the riverfront, then wander around the old market a little bit, so you can have a little bit of a day for yourself. But it'll just brush up on all the stuff that I've already gone over with you. And then the last thing is, if she continues being reactive, I'm hoping that the rules and structure are going to help her start seeing you guys as leaders, and she no longer thinks that her job is to protect you. But if a month from now you're not seeing a difference in her reactivity, let me know. We can set up a follow-up session and create stage scenarios and teach her how to have a nice, calm, non-engaged or not reactive behavior around people and dogs by creating stage situations and doing what we call behavior adjustment training or BAT training. Or BAT training is what it says basically. But anyways, all right. Well, one last thing. If I want a dog to come to me, a lot of times I hold my hand like this, like I'm holding a marble. And can you see her in the shot? Watch this. The lower he goes more to the dog, and then I raise it over her head in an arc. When she sits down, I lower it, let her lick it off my hands, and say sit. And then I would scratch her under her chin and say whatever it is. And I'm going to scratch her for a second because we have somebody walking by the window and I don't want her to bark. This is Riley, and this is Riley's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it. Right, Riley? Sit. Shake.